it is not for the faint of heart. My decision to go do this again, remember I just said care.com was 13 and a half years. It is a long haul commitment to your team, to your investors, and to the community that you're trying to serve. So really know that you're passionate, right? And that you've got the grit, but please know that you have the experience, you have the knowledge and the wisdom. Don't let technology be the one to scare you. Partner, happy to talk to you if this is something that you're looking into, but I really try and encourage everyone to pursue what's in your heart to help people and solve problems.
Sheila Marcelo, thank you so much for making time for us on So Jannelle.
Of course, Jannelle.
It's been a long time.
It's been a minute since I saw you.
Yes, many moons ago,
Yes.
you were building care.com.
That's right.
And I am so incredibly proud of how far you've taken it.
Oh, thank you.
And now you're starting a new one, which I have no doubt is also going to soar in no time. Ohai.ai. For those who are not yet familiar, what is it?
So it is a virtual assistant or an operating system, like it's a hub for families that actually handles the mundane task of every day.
Oh, hi there. I'm O, your AI assistant.
So as if you texted an assistant to say, hey, I have this meeting, I have a conflict, move this meeting. It also summarizes emails, it reads your emails, it puts events on a calendar, it helps with groceries. So the kinds of things that every day impacts families and the mental load that we carry. And even my mom uses it and she says, oh my gosh, it's a reminder to remind your dad to take all his meds.
Right.
It creates a to-do list.
Right.
And so it's a real assistant and a hub that makes it super easy to just get through your day, just make life easier.
Right. And how does it work? Is it like, on the phone, you carry it with you? What is it?
It's an app. You can actually download the app. It's very easy to sign up and subscribe. It's priced like $14.99 on the app per individual, and then families can also sign up for a plan. And there's even a family plan for 5 people because some people have multiple kids, older kids that also want to use it, even college students. And if you've got a caregiver, or sometimes Lola is using, also you're coordinating caregiving across family members. A nice, really great thing too is it delegates tasks between family members. So, syempre, if you're the mom, you're adhering to the calendar and you're the chief household officer guy and you're doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing, you can actually delegate to your husband, to your kids,
Through
getting
the
chores
app.
done.
Yes.
Yes, and the assistant's the one who follows up and in terms of adherence to the calendar.
I love that. And how
Yeah.
does it then capitalize on, you've always been in the care and tech industry, from care.com to this one. I feel like there's a flow to this.
There
Sheila.
is. So what's so interesting is I came up with the idea actually in 2015 pa, with this idea.
Okay.
And internally, the name of the app, and it was only an internal name, was called My Adam, which is the name of my youngest son.
Okay.
Because I was juggling between my husband and I, coordinating certain things. To me, care, everyday life coordination, is also care.
Yes.
And after school activities, we know the soccer schedule doesn't line up with the school schedule. Sometimes you forget picture day. Marami tayong nalilimutan.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And the birthday presents of friends, marami talaga. And then sometimes you feel like a terrible mom.
Also, what's coming to mind are single parents.
I know.
If you're a single parent household, I interviewed Gina Ortiz-Jones, right? And she was raised by a single mom, and she told me her mom worked 3 jobs to put her food
so
on their
hard.
table for her and
Selena
her
Gomez,
sister.
you know,
Yes.
famous
And then
people even.
and they're saying that they had a notepad in the morning because they wouldn't see their moms. They will just write notes to each other. And so this is such a lifesaver.
It's a lifesaver, and it's also, unfortunately, divorces on the rise, and even divorced parents who have to coordinate the kids' schedule, and they're not talking.
They have to talk. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then it impacts the kids when it's not coordinated in a way. Tapos it leads to nag-aaway pa. Instead, if the assistant can actually help plan and coordinate, it's super easy to use.
Right. And I like what you said earlier at the panel here at Milken Global Conference when you talked about how it frees up your time so you can take care of things that matter, which is spending time with family or even self-care.
Yeah, absolutely. 1% of the population has an assistant at work. And so much AI is solving productivity at work now. Okay, but if 99% of the population, if we can then give them help at home and learn to actually use the power of technology to enhance their life, that I really will free a lot of people up, which is why I'm doing it again.
Right, which is why I was going to say, I'm looking at you so inspired from care.com to Ohai.ai. You're not only, they say if you want to start a business, solve a problem.
That's right.
But you're not just solving a problem because you're actually helping and making life better
For people.
For people. I mean, that is so special, Sheila.
I feel very blessed and grateful that I don't take it for granted every day. God telling me the signal that my role in life is to really help as many as I can. I think my work isn't done, and so I haven't really defined the legacy. However, I will say, you know, if God decides that tomorrow is my last day, I will feel a sense of fulfillment that every day I have focused on really my light of either inspiring others to bring out their light, you know, because they can build their own things or they can be their own great leaders, or in some way, if that I've touched people's lives to help them, that's what matters to me.
Such an inspiration, Sheila. This is the month of May. We're celebrating Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
Yes, it is.
Has being Asian ever been a block to you in your entrepreneurial journey?
It certainly has been a challenge, and I've faced it both as a woman, as an entrepreneur. The quick story I've often shared is I remember taking the Care.com public, and I went straight to the bathroom, and it was in a private airport because we had to do it fast. And I went to the coffee pot, maybe because I'm being Filipina, I offered everybody coffee. They shook the CFO's hand, CTO's hand, and then they get to me and they said, "You must be the assistant from the bank." So maybe because I'm both a minority plus a woman, I don't know if that factored in, but with grace, I shook his hand with confidence and said, "I'm Sheila Lirio Marcelo. I'm founder, CEO, and chairwoman of Care.com." And so I tend to face these things not necessarily worrying that I'm either Asian or a woman. Instead, I really focus on the work, I focus on the substance, I focus on the merit, and really gain their trust and their confidence. And so I do the work. I do the hard work to really prove that I am deserving of having the seat at the table.
Right. And when we flip it the other way, how has being Asian, being Filipina helped you?
Oh,
I guess the values have guided you,
oh my gosh,
right?
the values, of course, when I started Care.com, my mom's like, "I don't know if you know, but the #1 exporter of care around the world, right, is the Philippines."
Yes.
And so I think that, you know, if there's one word that describes Filipino, it's family. A second word would probably be nurturing.
Yes,
and so I feel very fortunate and blessed that my parents raised me with those sense of values that applied every day to my work. And I think what's also really inspirational is I helped found with a great group of incredible men who came together and had the vision to start the Asian American Foundation.
Yes.
And it is helping fight hate. I'm responsible in helping where I can around narrative change and a sense of really giving our community in the diaspora a sense of belonging together.
I love that. But also we know that you're also a mother, now a grandma.
Grandmother.
I can't believe it. Juggling many things. Your advice to moms out there, you built Ohai.ai for them.
That's right.
But then outside of that too, how do you just balance everything, and how do you keep going? How do you fill your cup?
I think so much of it is asking for help. I meditate every day. I think I have a sense of sharing my vulnerability and my transparency around that I need to rest, I need to sleep, I need to replenish my soul when I need to do it. And I think as women, we carry it all. And I think there's this sense that we have to decide to show the world that we've got it, and if we show weakness for asking for help, it's not necessarily the truth, right? And I think that that's super important. So much of the challenges is actually our own selves. The sense that if we don't do it all, then we're not a great mom, we're not a great grandma, you know. And so I tend to share that vulnerability with my kids, that I'm not perfect, and there are many moments when I have to make trade-offs and I beg for their forgiveness, and then how do we work through it or schedule some things. It was my oldest son's birthday, but I had to fly for work. How did we celebrate it 2 days before instead of the actual day of the birthday? So it's making those adjustments and sharing with your kids that it's hard, and I've been on this journey. I mean, a quick story, and it's the grace of my son, talaga, my oldest one. You know, same thing, we just took the company public, and he got up and had an open mic and shared the story, and he related back to Mom. Do you remember? Stood up in front of investment bankers, accountants.
Okay.
I was really nervous. Okay,
Right,
took
about
the
what he's
open
gonna
mic,
say.
He was gonna say. And he looked straight at me and he said, Mom, do you remember that story? And do you remember that moment that when I graduated from high school, you came to the refrigerator and you asked me the question, and he was telling everybody in the room of you know, were you a great mom? And I answered you that you weren't around enough. Oh my gosh, it was like a dagger to the heart. And of course, I'm even more nervous that he's telling the story. And he said, I want you to know, and I want everyone to know here, that you are a great mom. You know, and and he said, if I look at the millions of people that you have helped, right, and just hear these people witnessing this experience that we're doing together for Care.com, it's made such a meaningful difference in people's lives. And so if you're a mom trying to do it all, let go of that guilt. Let go of that guilt. Know and really be transparent. Bring your family along of what's in your heart and what you're trying to do, and they're there with you.
I know, right? And let go of that pressure to be perfect. You can't do it all.
No.
Yeah.
I've definitely reached out. I've had the privilege of my parents raising both my boys. You know, they lived with me for 21 years, so just very fortunate.
Right. But also you have to balance that softness with when you're out there, you have to be strong and assertive, because you're an entrepreneur, you're a power woman.
Yes.
But at the home, you're not just a mother, you're also a wife.
That's right. You know, here's an interesting thing. You know, when I was younger, I used to think, Jannelle, that I would go into a company and I had a style that was very masculine, because I thought that's the way we're supposed to be. And people didn't really want to work with me. Yeah, because I wasn't my authentic self. And then I started to come into my own, especially as a mom. I started to bring in my nurturing, loving self to work. It doesn't necessarily mean it's soft. Why can't we be both? We can both be at home, both be nurturing and strict and stern and assertive with our children and raising them. Why at work do we not feel we can blend also our nurturing style in the way we lead?
I love that.
Why can't we bring out more of our feminine as moms, blended with our masculine?
I love that.
Because the complexity and beauty about being human is that you can just